back to my channel. If you see me looking like this in about 2 to 3 videos, it's not because I'm literally looking the same every single day. It's because I have a newborn and I'm exhausted all the time. So the fact that I'm even in front of this camera right now is amazing for me. So I'm just filming a few videos just so that I'm prepared, and so I'm not just, you get what I mean. So today the video that I am going to be sharing with you guys is I want to talk to you about the different pregnancy symptoms and basically the truth about pregnancy, the things that they don't tell you about pregnancy. A lot of the things that I went through, I had no idea that you could even go through during pregnancy, because all they usually tell you is the main symptoms such as morning sickness, swollen feet, swollen knees, just being swollen basically, bigger breasts. They don't tell you about a lot of the other things, and especially mentally as well. Pregnancy can take such a big toll on your body and it's just a very lonely experience. So I'm just here to share with you the different things that I personally went through, and maybe that other mothers have probably gone through as well, and they just haven't wanted to share it because everyone likes to have this whole, oh yeah, pregnancy is amazing. I'm going to be honest with you, I did not find pregnancy amazing. I love my daughter to death, but pregnancy is not fun at all. Well, it wasn't for me anyway, especially because I was working full-time and I don't drive, so it was quite hard to be traveling. And then a lot of people, they don't care about a pregnant woman. You'll get on a train, they will pretend that they haven't even seen you just so they don't have to get up. Look at me with your chest and don't get up. You don't have to pretend you haven't seen me because I know you've seen me. It's just some people just don't want to get up for you, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not entitled, but like I said, own it with your chest. So I'll get on to the video. So some of the symptoms that I went through, sorry if I'm looking down, I've got a list of stuff on my phone. So nausea, I was lucky I didn't have any morning sickness. It was just quite a bit of nausea, especially in the first trimester and the third trimester towards the end. But apart from that, I was perfectly fine. I'll also do a video on my labour and delivery so that those who aren't mothers, they know possibly what they could go through. So another thing I had was sore and itchy breasts. So your breasts do get bigger, not everyone, but mine did, and they were very sore and they were very itchy at times while they were growing. I had veins, I still do, but I had veins showing on them that was like dark and like a dark blue, and it wasn't fun. Back pain, that was one of the main things, especially towards the end. I have a maternity pillow and I still use it now even after I've given birth because it's comfortable, and I still have a bit of back pain. But back pain was one of the worst things because whatever position I was trying to go into sleep, I couldn't. And another thing, insomnia. That is definitely one of the things I suffered with the most. And like I said, I was working full time, so trying to get to sleep in the night, and I was in bed by about 8 to 8:30, and I didn't get to sleep until about midnight or even after midnight. So I was really struggling with insomnia. I was just not able to sleep at all, constantly tossing and turning because you've got that extra weight on you, and I'm naturally a slim girl, so having that weight was just, it was a lot for me to handle. And that's another thing that that leads me to talk about is insecurity. I felt very insecure during my pregnancy. I would cry because I just was feeling insecure. I'd wear outfits that I usually wear, or I'd buy new outfits and just nothing seemed to look good on me, and it was just stressing me out, especially for my baby shower. It took me a while to find a dress because I just looked frumpy in everything, and I just didn't feel confident. I didn't feel beautiful like I normally did. And my husband was constantly reassuring me, my family, my best friend, they were constantly reassuring me, you are still beautiful. So that really helps. If you have that support system and you have your partner that is there for you, you have friends that are there for you that can constantly reassure you that you are beautiful, you are carrying this beautiful life. So don't feel that you are ugly because you're not. And you're gonna feel ugly at times. Not everyone does, but your body is changing in a way that you never knew it could change. And it's changing every day. You're seeing all these different things that you never knew your body could even do. So of course you're going to have some insecurities, but just know that you are beautiful. So another thing is cramps. So throughout my pregnancy I was having cramps, mainly in the first trimester. I wouldn't say it was like period cramps, but it was somewhat like period cramps, and they'd be on and off. Pubic bone pain or pelvic pain. So I'd say in the second trimester, that's when I started having pain in my pubic bone. And I think that's actually why pregnant women, we waddle a bit because you're just in pain in that area. It just feels like someone has kicked you there in that bone, and it's just really uncomfortable. So you walk a bit funny. Another thing is a stuffy nose. So if you're someone like me that has sinus problems, or you suffer from asthma or hay fever, you're really going to suffer. And especially hay fever, because you're not allowed to take anything. I went to the pharmacy and they would not give me anything. Not drops, not spray, not tablets. You literally cannot take anything for hay fever. And if your hay fever is so bad to the point that you just can't live, then you need to go to your GP and they will give you a prescription, because the pharmacy are not going to give you anything at all when you're pregnant. So I constantly had a stuffy nose. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't take anything. Usually in the night time I tend to have breathing problems, so I have to sleep on specific sides. But when you're pregnant, they tell you to sleep on your left side, and I usually like to sleep on my right side. So that was another thing that I was struggling with, constantly trying to sleep on my left, because on the right side I wasn't able to breathe properly, and also you can't sleep on your back, and I wasn't able to breathe properly on my back because of the weights. So that's another thing. If you sleep on your right side or your back, you're gonna suffer. So you can only take paracetamol. So if you're someone like me that you've had bad periods in the past, or you've had pains in the past, or you've constantly had to take paracetamol, then, and you're pretty much immune to it, I wouldn't say immune to it, but it doesn't do as much for you, then once again you're going to suffer, especially because you can't take ibuprofen or aspirin, because that can damage the fetus, so that can cause your baby problems. So you're not allowed to take ibuprofen and aspirin especially. You can only take paracetamol, and in the smallest doses, so that's 2 every 4 hours. So you can only take 8 in a day. Yeah, you can only take 8 in a day. Another thing was fatigue. So yeah, fatigue, it was just horrible. I was tired all the time, and especially because I wasn't sleeping as well. So I'd started taking naps at work, because I get one 15-minute break in the morning, but usually I don't have time to nap. I just quickly eat a snack and prepare for after break time, and then lunchtime I'd eat, and that would usually take me about 30 minutes, and then I'd go to my room and I just have about a 15-minute nap. Even in the morning I usually get to work quite early, so I'll take a nap there as well. And also another thing, eating. When it came to my third trimester, I just didn't want to eat. My what's the word called? My appetite was very low. So when it came to cravings, I didn't really have cravings. If I thought of something, or my husband would say something like, oh, if my husband would talk about Nando's or pizza or just any sort of food, then I would suddenly want it. So I think after a while he stopped doing it, because I just wanted to eat whatever someone said. But in terms of craving, the only thing I really craved was grapes. Every single day I'd have a fruit pot from Greggs, and I'd have a pastry from Greggs. Usually a chicken bake or a steak bake, so I guess maybe that was another craving. But even before I was pregnant, I was eating that every morning. Headaches. So I get headaches quite a lot, and I think that was mainly down to also me not being able to sleep. So I was getting headaches, and it was just, it was horrible. So like I said, pregnancy is not the best experience, but it's also an amazing experience. Feeling your baby move, talking to your baby even though they can't respond, but they'd respond with kicks or they'd punch or something. But yeah, she'd respond to me when she was in the stomach. Blurry vision, that is one thing that I never ever knew you could experience when it came to pregnancy. Your vision would be blurred. That could also be a sign of preeclampsia, but I didn't have preeclampsia. Everything always came back clear with my midwife appointments. But if you're getting blurry vision, do tell your midwife, especially if it comes with swollen feet or itchy hands and feet. Then you need to tell your midwife, because that could be a symptom of preeclampsia. Also, apparently, if your stomach is itchy, which I think is normal because your stomach is stretching, so of course it's going to be itchy. But I told my midwife my stomach was itchy a bit, and she tested me for liver conditions, but everything was perfectly fine. So if your midwife is quite on top of things, they'll probably test you for everything, even if it's probably not necessary, but just to rule it out, because at the end of the day you're carrying another life, so you need to take care of the both of you. So yeah, blurry vision. In terms of blurry vision, it would kind of be like, say if you had sleep in your eye and you get that blurry, like you get that stringy, I don't know what it's called, but it feels like that's what the blurry vision is like, as if you've got that stringy thing in your eye, even if it's not there. And even now, sometimes my vision will still be a little bit blurred, but then I just put eye drops in and it's fine. So another thing that I didn't know about was oily hair and nails. So usually I wash my hair about every week because I have a really itchy scalp, and my hair would just get oily. It grew a lot, especially because of my vitamins, but it would be really oily, and my nails as well. I couldn't have acrylics on for more than 2 weeks, and usually my acrylics can last up to a month, but they were just not lasting at all. After a week, they were starting to grow out, and that usually never happens to me. So after a while, I just had to forget about the acrylics because I was spending so much money on them when it was just unnecessary. So if you are someone that likes to paint your nails or that likes to get acrylics, just bear in mind that it will not last. Another thing, heartburn and acid reflux. So especially when it comes to nighttime, you shouldn't eat anything, I'd say about an hour before bed, because your acid reflux will be the worst. Especially when I was on my right side, it would feel like I was going to be sick, but then I wouldn't actually be sick. I would just have the burn in my throat, and even drinking water, that didn't really help. I just pretty much had to deal with it. Heartburn, I didn't really have that much heartburn. In the first trimester I had a bit, but after that it was mainly acid reflux. And I'm really surprised because my daughter came out with a lot of hair, and they say that when you have a lot of heartburn it means your child will have a lot of hair, but I guess it was different for me. Another thing is breathlessness. So not being able to breathe properly, pretty much. If you're someone that, like me, that likes to rush everywhere, constantly walking fast, I physically cannot walk slow. So it was really a struggle for me, because just to walk down the road, I'll be huffing and puffing like a whale and it was just horrible. Even from the first trimester up until the third, it was just horrible, just constantly out of breath. And oh my gosh, 2 occasions I went to run for the bus when I think I was in my first trimester. I don't know who I thought I was. I thought I was some Olympian or something, but I went to go and run for the bus, and oh my gosh, I thought I was dying. I literally could not breathe. I remember I'd walked down the road because I was going to work. I forgot something at home, so I quickly ran back, and no, after that I told myself I'm not running again because it was horrible. Even my mum, like, she was looking at me like concerned because I literally could not breathe properly. I had to drink some water and sit down for about 5 minutes because I hate to be late and I was stressing myself. But just don't do it. Do not run while you're pregnant. Just take your time. But I think that's mainly it. The other thing is just the mental side of things. You really need to be careful, especially if you're dealing with someone that is pregnant. and men, especially you need to make sure that you are taking care of your woman, because anything can flip her over the edge. Postnatal depression is a real thing. You need to be taking care of your woman. There'll be things she will want from you, or she might be asking for too much. Just do it. Do not ask any questions. Deal with it, because you do not want her to go into a depression, or you don't want her mental state to be affected. Our hormones are literally all over the place when we are pregnant, even after being pregnant. And I will make another video about postpartum. And it's so hard to control. And honestly, my husband is the most amazing person ever, because my pregnancy, I wouldn't say I was a different person, but I wasn't exactly the same. My hormones did take a toll, and he dealt with it amazing. He was so patient with me. Even now, my hormones are still all over the place, and he's being patient with me, and I really appreciate it, because pregnancy can change you. The person you were with before might not be the same person during pregnancy and a couple months after pregnancy as well. So you just need to be patient and just deal with it, and just let her come back to normal, because it's a lot to handle for both people. But if you're the partner of a pregnant person, just be patient and it will all work out in the end. So I hope that was helpful to you, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe, and if there's anything else you'd like to know about pregnancy, just let me know. I'll list all my socials in the description box.